If we could run through the visitors, I know it's hard on the phone and with the lag, but if we could run through the visitors that we have on here, just state your name, please.
Marge.
Okay, I got Jess and Marge.
Sherry McLaren.
Hi, Sherry.
Hi.
Joe Armand.
Hi, Joe.
Scott McGowan.
Scott, gotcha. Okay, that must be it. Okay, real quick, council. You guys got the emails, but unfortunately, we're still under our COVID regulations as far as the governor and the stuff goes about what we can do over the phone for meetings. So we have a pretty short agenda. I know there's a couple things that people had to add, so hopefully we can talk about it outside of the meeting. If you have any questions, get a hold of me, or we can hopefully have a meeting in person next month. I know I had a couple things that I wanted on there that aren't essential, so just that going forward. We'll go ahead and move to the agenda. Is there anything...
This is Justin. I don't know. There's some feedback on the phone, so I don't know if people can mute their phones if they're not talking.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, if you guys are able to mute your phones, that'd be great.
Could you just announce that?
Is mine muted?
No.
Okay.
Is that better, Justin?
Sure.
Okay. Alrighty. I'd ask for additions, but we're kind of under stipulation for doing that, so we're gonna move forward with what we have and go ahead and go on to the council minutes from April 8th last month. If anyone has any questions, comments, or concerns on those.
This is Justin. I had a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
On the Carr Street closure, the last item before public comment on page 2 of the minutes, I think we, as the council, just said we would postpone. We would wait and see what happened until we made a decision. So this kind of makes it sound like we made a decision. So I think, as I recall it, we just sort of said, hey, let's wait to see what the law is going to, or what the order is going to be before the city has to make a decision.
Are you talking the last sentence there in that paragraph?
Just in general, it says you reported the council, or the chamber had canceled their portion. The car show is being moved until July 25th. Joe Barth put in a request for the street closure as long as it's permitted by the governor's order. It was clarified that it's that would be closed. So I think she put in a request for the street closure on July 25th, and as long as it's permitted by the governor, I don't think the council. I think we are waiting for the governor's orders to see what was allowed before we move forward. But
yeah, I think that's correct.
Hey Nathan, this is David.
Yeah.
I'd like to add on to what Justin just read you. My question for clarification is the 3rd Street closure, is that the whole street or parts of it, or just, I know we discussed this prior, but in the documentation here it says 3rd Street, and I don't know if that's just a block, or does anybody have any clarification on that?
Yeah, I believe, if I recall, I don't have the original request in front of me. We could grab it. I believe that it was a request for the entire 3rd Street. It'd be from Sherlock, which is right by the hotel, all the way to 28. But I do not know that for sure. I don't have it in front of me, unfortunately.
Nathan, if I can chime in. Nathan?
Yeah, go ahead.
You're correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
The whole, yeah.
So that answers both of our question there. But Justin is right. We didn't necessarily. It is worded that we agreed to close it, and we did not. We did agree to wait to see what would happen with the governor's orders. So
It says as long as it's permitted by governor's order.
Okay, thank you.
Nathan, this is Justin too. Do we know yet how, or does Janice know how long it takes to submit that, or for that process? Like, is it something we can wait until our June 10th meeting to? Is that 6 or 7 weeks? Is that enough time to process it if necessary?
No.
We don't have it on the agenda now, but
I believe I saw on Facebook that it was canceled for this year altogether. I'm trying to look that up now to verify that, but I don't believe it's
Per DOT requirements, any
was
district.
correct.
no, they have it on there.
I saw it.
They just put up banners on several buildings that said car show on the 25th yesterday.
yeah, so the car show, as far as I know, the car show portion of that day is still going on. Janice just told me that per DOT that we do need to start that process quickly. So I guess to answer your question, I don't have an exact time frame, but the sooner the better it sounds. So moving forward, I don't know exactly when we should or need to make that decision.
And that's not gonna say that they're gonna okay it.
Yeah, and Janice added to the fact that we don't even know if DOT will allow that or not, especially being such a long length of 3rd Street, being that it's a state highway.
During harvest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is a busy time of year, so with truck traffic and other stuff going, harvest, it might be pretty tough to be able to at least close that whole portion. Maybe they allow part of it. I don't know. I think we need to get in contact with WashDOT to see exactly the time frame and also if they're going to allow the whole section or not.
Nathan, this is David. What is the city's role? How much is expected from the city participation for signage closures? Does anybody visit that if the thing is a go?
Yeah, so I definitely know that we do play a part in it. Scott might be able to elaborate a little bit more on that. I know for Fall Fest and some other things that we are responsible for the signage and the detour and that stuff.
Everything.
Okay.
And that's why it goes through the city as far as the street closure. Somebody wants it, they bring it to us, and then we submit it to WashDOT, and then we're actually required to do all the signing.
Yeah, it'd be different if the dance wasn't going on, but it sounds like if it's just a street or the closure for the car show, it's not going to be too bad.
Right.
Scott, have you ever had, just in your experience, have you ever had it to where they reject a request or they make us change the length or anything of that nature?
We haven't attempted to close it for the car show yet, but this is going to be a different year. If we close it for the car show, we close it for the Fall Fest, but it's never been a problem.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I guess Janice can check up on that, and then we are gonna have some research to do with WashDOT to see on the time frame, and then I'll let you guys know exactly what we find out on that.
Okay, this is Justin. Thank you, Nathan. I would like to have it added, if we can, to our next meeting's agenda, if it's open to talk about.
Yeah, you bet. We'll add it on there. I think we're gonna end up having three items on that agenda already, so I don't see why we couldn't do that then. Justin, did you have any wording that you want to add to the minutes or change that to clarify anything specific to clarify that paragraph?
Only that the city was going to wait to see what the governor said before taking any action.
Yeah. It does say in there, as long as it's permitted by the governor's orders. Does that wording work?
I'd also add by DOT's
Okay.
blessing as well.
Or just to add then, as long as it's permitted by the governor's order, the council will take it up at a future meeting.
Okay. Yeah, we can add both of those parts in there. If we do that on that paragraph, do you guys see anything else that you have questions or comments on in the minutes of last meeting?
Peter, I have a comment.
Go ahead, Peter.
Are the minutes written in the same chronological sequence that the items occurred during the meeting? If so, I'm a little confused by the approval of meeting minutes. It said they passed 3-0, but there were 5 people voting at that point, I believe. And then David had already, they may not have been sworn in.
They didn't vote.
Forgotten when that took place, but it's,
If I remember correctly, we weren't sworn in yet. We were voted in, but we were waiting on swearing in because there was, if I remember right, David was in the field or out somewhere, and he was having some connectivity issues. So we were trying to get him back, and so you guys went back and took care of minutes. And then as soon as we got David back, we did our swearing in.
okay.
Yeah, that could be correct. And to answer your question, Peter, I don't know that they're in the exact order. That's usually how they're written, but I don't know that they are in this case. And I think Steven's correct. There was a little bit of time there where we were getting David back on the phone.
So only three council members were voting on the approval of the meeting minutes.
Yeah, that'd be correct. That was the standing 3 council members.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, you bet. Any other questions? Okay, I don't hear any. At this point, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as read with the correction to the last paragraph for the car show.
This is Justin. I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Justin. We have a second.
Peter, second.
David second.
Okay, Peter beat you to it, David.
That's okay.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes from the last council meeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
This is Levi. Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
Okay, I think I heard everybody. Thank you, council. That passes 5-0. Next up, the bills. We have, you guys should got a copy of the April bills in the email. Do we have any questions or concerns with those? No, doesn't sound like any comments or questions. You guys will see on there, the one that I noticed that sticks out for me is for Shelby Deal on the payroll. There was just a check made that was for the wrong amount. Janice cleared that with bias and got everything taken care of. It's got a note in there on the right-hand side. This is of page 1 under the payroll, but just to kind of clarify why you're seeing that.
This is Peter. I have a couple comments about the bills.
Okay, go ahead, Peter.
This is page 1. The second and third box at the top, it says deposit for pay cycles April 30th to April 30th. Should that be April 1st to April 30th?
I don't know. Let me ask Janice here. Right on the top there, it says pay cycles. And it has the date 4/30 to 4/30.
For what transaction? What is he?
Just for all of the, he's wondering if that should say 4/1 to 4/30.
No, it's pay date is on 30th.
No, she said that it just reads like that. That that is the pay date, so that it should just read for that one day.
Okay. It seemed to read that was for a period of time. I didn't understand.
Yeah, it does. It does read like that. I can see why that caught your eye, but she says that's how it's supposed to be set up.
Nathan, this is Justin. The only other thing I noticed is there's only 4 council member signature lines, so we need to add a 5th when we go to sign those.
That's already been addressed.
Okay. Yep. Janice said that's already been addressed, and we'll have a 5th one on there. Thank you. I didn't even notice that.
I guess it's page 3, at the very top, Washington State Department of Revenue. It reads $1,666.41. Should that be combined excise tax return? It reads combines with an S. Minor glitch.
Yes, I do see that. Seen that first.
Intentional, maybe?
Should that be combined? Yes, you're correct. That should be combined. We'll get that fixed as a spelling error. Thank you, Peter.
And one other item,
Okay.
I guess it's page 4, number 341 and 342. It says Andy Tom Wastewater Project Report Preparation. Should be ARATION.
Okay.
And that also holds for item 342, I believe. Project report preparation.
342 project.
They're minor issues, I recognize.
Yep, got it. Thank you. We'll get her fixed.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions on the bills?
Peter moves that the bills be accepted as presented and corrected.
Okay, we have a motion from Peter. Do we have a second?
Second.
This is Justin. I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Justin. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, I will ask that all council members signify by saying aye to approve them as presented and corrected.
Levi, aye.
Peter says aye.
Aye.
Steven says aye.
Okay, David, did you get in there?
Yes.
Okay,
Aye.
thank you. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, council. Okay, first on our agenda after the bills is aeration equipment. It's just an FYI. I didn't want to go. I just wanted to let you guys know. Scott informed me 2 weeks ago. We have 2 ponds out at the lagoons, and each of them have 2 aerators on them. They're electric motors that run a drive shaft and a prop that just aerate the water that's in those holding ponds. And Scott's done a pretty good job of piecing them together to make sure we're only using 1 pond right now, so we're only running 2 of them. So he's been taking parts from one to make the other one work, and that has since finally got down to where none of them are working. So I just want to give you guys an FYI that we are in the process of purchasing not 2 entire new units, but the parts to fix those, the electric motor and the drive shaft, and then the props on them as well. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. They're expensive. Parts are expensive. The company that they're supplied from can only come from that company. So we're in the tune of $6,000 for enough parts to make 2 of those work. Scott, I don't know if you have anything to add on that, but I just wanted to let everybody know that it's a pretty big expense, so I thought I'd mention it and let you guys know what's going on.
I don't have anything to add except that we've ordered them. 2 shafts, 2 motors, and 2 propellers and bearings.
Okay, and the cost on that, if I recall, was right around $6,000, is correct?
Yeah, I think it's 6,500 and some odd change.
It depletes the sewer fund.
Yep, and Janice just informed me that that's getting us very low on the sewer fund, so we're definitely going to have to take a look at that and make sure that we can get some money in there to provide things to keep going forward. But if you guys have questions, you can ask myself, or Scott might be able to answer them better, but I just wanted to keep you guys updated and let you know that what was going on.
This is Peter. I have a question, please.
Yeah, go ahead, Peter.
How long have the old parts been in service, Scott? Do you know? Do you recall?
There's 4 aerators out there, and we replaced 6 different motors and I think 4 different shafts. The engineer, Caldwell Tribal built that, and they decided that with the engineer's permission that they could order hollow shaft motors instead of solid shaft. And they substituted the hollow shaft, and so right off the bat, the first couple years, we ended up losing a couple shafts. But since then, they've improved the hollow shaft, so it works better.
We can't retrofit solid shafts in the motors?
No, they don't. See, the shafts are hollow because it goes through the propeller, and it draws air through the shaft at the top by the motor and then injects it into the pond.
I see.
Through the shaft.
Okay.
So obviously this has happened a few times, Scott, and we're required to have those and have those working in a timely manner. Going forward, have you seen anything or been able to research other methods, other styles that we could potentially inquire about purchasing something different that maybe would last a little bit longer?
We'll have to find out about that, but yeah, there's different aerators, but we had to go back to the same company because it was the motor is proprietary, I guess how you say it, to the aerator unit.
And I know you mentioned something to me when I was talking to you about different units, but the price of those units far exceed what we're paying for the parts for these ones, correct?
The units are over $10,000 a piece.
Okay.
Are you able to figure
Hey Nathan, this is Justin.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Justin.
So I just would say that this is the first that I've heard of, in general, every year for the last couple of years we've asked for information that we think we can need for budget planning purposes, and obviously going forward we could probably put this in our budget, but this is one of those things that never came up at all before, so we'll have to just work harder this next year to go through every list of every possible thing that could go wrong and ask for help to see if that's something that we might have to put away for, because $6,000 now, that's something we could have planned for, but we didn't then. So something a note to keep down for when we do the budget process this year, to have to ask those questions that should have been provided to us anyway. So
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. That's a big chunk of change, definitely. Obviously, we don't know all the future breakdowns, but we can definitely do our diligence to try to get a handle on what could possibly go wrong, or things that are seen from Scott or Charlie both that are aging that we need to keep an eye on and maybe expect to replace or fix. So I agree. Thank you. Peter, you had another question?
I'll think of it in a bit.
Alrighty. Okay, the next agenda item is code compliance. That's another just FYI. We currently do not have a code compliance person, and just wanted to put it out there to see if anyone going forward happens to hear anyone that's interested, or if you have somebody that you guys think would be good for the job, to go ahead and get in touch with me and see about getting somebody on board so that we can have that position filled. Okay, any questions on that? Okay, moving on. Mayor Pro Tem. So we, as a council, need to have a Mayor Pro Tem in place just for filling in for myself if something were to happen, or if I was sick, or something potentially if I wasn't here, to have somebody else authorized to do the duties of the position of mayor. So I just wanted to go forward with you guys and see if anyone had any ideas or thoughts on Mayor Pro Tem or candidate. I know I spoke with Stephen about it, and Stephen, do you have any comments or questions or thoughts on that?
I just said that if it would be the council's will that someone would, want me to let my name stand for it, I would.
Okay.
I had a good discussion with Justin today to understand what is and isn't involved in it, but I don't have any interest to fight for the position if someone has their heart set on it, but I'm willing to step up if the need's there.
Question, this is Peter.
Yeah, go ahead, Peter.
It seems to me Justin would be a good candidate for that position, given the fact that he's already served as mayor for a considerable period of time. Is that not something you're interested in, Justin?
No, Peter, not at this time. I've been the pro tem before and figured it's better to let somebody else do it. Give a chance, more experience.
Yeah. Okay.
And the big thing, I mean, I've told Nathan this, and I told Stephen today. It's not a vice mayor. It's in case really is to sign checks and whatnot. And so I haven't been traveling right now with work, but typically I do travel, and so it's typically what happens is you need somebody there in case the mayor is gone and like to sign checks or to sign something. And if I'm not in town, then it's better that somebody who doesn't travel as much or who's here more than I have been in the past anyway.
Thanks for that response.
Nathan,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd make a motion and nominate Stephen, if he'll accept it.
Okay. There's a motion on the table to appoint Councilman Hardy as Mayor Pro Tem. Do I have a second?
This is Levi. I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Levi. Do we have any more discussion on this matter?
No.
Stephen, you're gladly accepting this motion?
I do, at this point.
Okay. All right, well, I have a motion on the floor and a second. I asked all the council members to signify by saying aye.
Levi, aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Peter, Justin. Okay. All opposed, same sign. Okay, hearing none. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, council. Congratulations, Stephen.
Stephen vote for himself.
Stephen, did you vote for yourself?
I would abstain. I think it's rather in bad taste for me to vote for myself.
Okay, I apologize. I didn't ask for abstention, so thank you. So motion passes 4-0-1. Thank you, council. Next up, we have handbook update, grant money. So I just kind of wanted to fill you guys in on that. We had a opportunity from AWC to apply for a grant to allow money to have our handbook looked at. And we had pretty short notice on this, so typically we would go through and talk about it with the council beforehand. But with the short notice, we did apply for that and have been granted that money. If we should choose to take it, we've had two offices in Spokane that AWC put us in contact with to provide this work. The amount was $2,500 to have our handbook kind of updated and looked at and made sure that everything was kosher and going forward. So this would be something that would we would send off to have somebody work on it, and then they would provide us with a bill. We would pay that bill, and then in sense get reimbursed for those costs up to $2,500 from the grant through AWC. So I just wanted to let you guys know kind of where we were at and what was going on, and that if we send this off, we'll see a bill for it, but there won't be any cost to the city. They're instructed to only provide up to $2,500 worth of service, and it was just kind of a short notice thing from AWC. So I just wanted to let you guys know and see if you had any questions or comments on it.
Nathan, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, David.
Yeah, policies and procedures. This handbook, what exactly is it? Is it going to address what lately the correspondence, in our policies and procedures regarding, retirement, vacation, and all that kind of stuff? I know it's very hard to do this over the phone, and we're going to have to sit down and do this, but there's a lot of stuff I think that needs to be clarified. So I just want clarification. Are we going to dictate our policies or inner workings, or just where does this fall, this handbook update?
Yes, that's correct. So this handbook in general is the employee handbook, city policies regarding employment dealings. So yes, we would. There's some things in there that are limited by law and what the law says as far as sometimes the pay and not how things are paid, but on certain hours. Right. On RCWs and stuff, but some of this is able to be dictated by the city itself. That if they have some wiggle room as far as what we can choose to do or not to do.
I would suggest it would behoove us to sit down as a council and go through this. There's some pretty important topics I think that the council should address and pertain strictly with our size of city and employees, and I'd feel more comfortable going through this. I know you've had experience where you work, and I have, and there's a lot of other people there, and I just see a lot of irregular language in this, and I'd like to clean it up and clarify it so there's no misconceptions and so forth and so on. But like I said, this would be something I'd rather discuss in a sit-down meeting when we can.
Yes, absolutely, I agree. So they will go through and update things that need to be updated just by law. If we have something that's subpar, they will update that, and then we can, in fact, go through and choose on some of the facts of the handbook. So. It was more of just kind of how the money was working. I just want to make sure that the council understood that this wasn't coming out of our pocket. It's just it's a grant, so it's a pass through. Justin explained to me a little bit how that works with the budget, and we will pay a bill, but then we will show an income for that same amount. So
And what David said was along the same lines of where I was going as well, is to say that I am adamant that there are some changes that need to happen to our handbook to prevent against the possibility of a recurrence of some problems that we saw within last year. So with this grant money, I am very insistent that we make sure that that is used towards helping clean up some of these issues. Yeah.
Yep.
I'll leave it there until we have the ability to address this as a dedicated agenda item.
Okay, thank you. Okay, with that, I don't have anything else on there. Eventually, like I said, it's been pretty short. I know everybody's, or at least some people have some more things they'd like to add, and hopefully, and myself as well, but hopefully going forward we can do that pretty quick, hopefully at the next meeting, but we'll see what the governor says on that one. But that's all I have on the agenda. The last thing that I have on there is public comments, if we have any from the public. Okay, I don't hear any. Does the council have any other questions comments on anything that we covered?
I would say, Justin, if you wanted to share in this context what you mentioned on the email of what you found on the call today regarding some funds, just because I think it's relevant to the cost of the aeration equipment and some other things that financially we might be seeing some aid that will come along in a timely fashion here.
Sure. Is that okay, Nathan?
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great. I'm glad that you were able to get on there. I wasn't able to do it.
So there was a call today, the AWC Small City Connector. It was a virtual. They had one here last year in Harrington. I know several of our council people attended. And so a couple things that came up was this specific thing today about the meeting still, and a lot of counties like our own now are going, moving into other phases and moving forward. And so one of the things they talked about was going back to a regular meeting to where we could do other things besides the basic necessities. And they, AWC folks said they had actually talked with the governor's office this morning about it. They didn't get an answer yet, but they're trying to let them know that as these counties are opening back up, the cities in those counties move forward. And so that just a heads up there. So hopefully by June 10th, we maybe can meet in person. The other thing is, as part of the CARES Act, Washington State received several $100 million, and they've agreed. I think we're one of 3 states that they agreed to pass that money on to cities and counties directly to let them deal with it. And so they said the minimum amount is $30 per resident, or a minimum of $25,000, and that's for makeup of lost sales tax revenue due to business closures and B&O tax, if there's any of that in the cities or whatnot. So I don't know. There's actually another call tomorrow on AWC that I sent out that they're going to be talking about that more too. So hopefully in the next several months, I don't know how long, when it will be, but they've basically said that each city will get a minimum. I mean, we followed that minimum city, or that minimum dollar amount. So it sounds like we should be getting $25,000 as a result of the CARES Act pass through. So is that what you meant, Stephen, I'm assuming?
Yeah, and I just thought since we had talked about the budget impact of the aeration equipment, I thought it good to maybe leave people with some hope that that has a potential way of being covered. I don't know the ins and outs of budgets enough whether we can stick it in the sewer budget, but at least it's a net positive to the city's finances as a whole should it happen.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for the update, Justin. I'm glad you were able to attend that call. Good question, Stephen. We'll keep you guys updated going forward on that subject, the CARES Act and the meetings as well, both, so that we can keep up to date on that, know where we're at.
Also, Nathan, one more thing, just as a public announcement. The AWC's annual conference, the in-person conference this year was canceled, but they're going to host a virtual conference with several of the sessions will be live. And the registration just opened. It's free, no cost to anybody. Typically, I think they give a scholarship for us to have like one person go. I know last year, I think Tim went to a couple, Councilmember Tipton, former Councilmember Tipton went to a couple that went to Spokane. I went the previous year in Yakima. So if you guys, the council members, go to the AWC website, they have it on there, and it's going to be probably like a Zoom or a GoToMeeting type thing, but there probably should be some sessions there that we can get, that would probably apply to us in some levels.
Yeah, I agree. I'd encourage everybody that's able to do that to sign up and get on there and watch. And now that it's virtual, I guess it's a little bit less cumbersome to attend. So, and it's nice that it's free and we're all able to do it instead of just one or two council members. So, yeah, if you guys get a chance, definitely try to do that.
This is Peter. I have a question about that session, Justin. Is it going to be done, or do you know the date? Said it, I didn't catch it. And also, will it be done via Skype, or did you say Zoom or GoToMeeting?
Yeah, Peter, I don't know the exact dates. It's sometime in June, later part of June. I don't have it.
It's Janet's just told me she's signed up already. I think it's the June 23rd through 26th.
So there's 3 days of different things. There's like a business meeting, so there's bits and pieces. And then, I don't know the exact, Peter. It will be some kind of a virtual setting, so it might be Skype or Zoom or GoToMeeting or one of those types of things.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you for adding that, Justin. Does anyone have anything else before we go to Levi's favorite part? Okay, I don't hear anything. At this point, I would...
And I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Alrighty, motion on the floor to adjourn at 7:44. Do I have a second?
Second.
Alrighty, motion and seconded. David. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, Peter, did I hear you in there?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, council. Thanks for the ongoing effort to get on the phone and do this. Hopefully next month it won't be the same. We can meet back in person at City Hall like normal.
Have a good evening, guys.
Alright, thank you guys.
Good meeting.
Bye-bye.